Do you think Fani-Kayode is broke financially?
I believe he's morally broke. I believe he's mentally broke. I also believe he's psychologically broke.
Oh my God. Welcome to episode 29 of Reactions with Mr. Sal. Joining me today is Mr. Nimi.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is Ojonimi Edime once again.
Yes.
On
What I
Reactions.
think your name was Nimi or just something.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Ojonimi.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Thank you.
At least today you're more yourself. You're more relaxed today.
I'm always relaxed,
The
Mr.
last
Sal.
the last time you were trying to be like us.
And that was my first time, and you guys set the pace.
Mr. Wale, thank you for being here today as well. Mr. Wale Bakare, how you doing? I know I've wasted your time today, yeah?
I'm good. Yeah, we'll make up for it. Hopefully, we have a lot. You have a lot in the bag for us too.
Yeah, so hopefully I can start compensating you guys for your time. Anyway, Nimi, are you ready to react today? Should we get going?
Yes. Let's go.
Okay, are you comfortable?
Why? Why you just asking if I'm comfortable? Yes, I am.
All right.
I'm better. Okay, I'm better this week.
All right, that's
First time I
fine.
came.
Yeah, so before we get into the topics we're going to be reacting to today, please subscribe to Page 36 TV on YouTube, like this video, share and comment. Let us know what you think about the topics we're going to be reacting to today. So the recently defected chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, that's the PDP, Femi Fani-Kayode, who left the party for the ruling All Progressives Congress, officially last week, has been accused of being financially broke, disloyal, a betrayal, a snitch, a hypocrite, a liar, a beggar, and much more, only for one person. Yep. Since he announced his defection and was seen in a photo with President Muhammad Buhari at the Aso Rock Presidential Villa in Abuja. So you may recall that Fani-Kayode claimed that he left the PDP to join the APC to save Nigeria from breaking up and to help unite the country. These are things he said. So reacting, the Southwest PDP specifically called him a featherweight politician, not a heavyweight. Feather. Yep. It's not even lightweight.
Not even lightweight.
Featherweight, exactly. Adding that he lacks the integrity required to portray a liberator's stature with no known source of income other than corporate begging. Yeah. Mr. Wale, I'm going to come to you first, though, because you should have more insight on this. So there's this talk about Fani-Kayode being so broke. I don't want to talk about the hunger pack. Obasanjo talked about giving him food.
Give him food and he would
And
dance.
recently, there was a viral picture as well where he was recently served food and he was smiling, excited. This is my new house. There's enough to eat. F these other people. So the question, what I want us to talk about today, he has defected since, I don't give a damn. Is Fani-Kayode broke? Does he have known sources of income? Also, I watched him on channels, television's Politics Today, when Shehu dared to ask him this question for him to react. He talked so arrogantly. He was so disappointed that Shehu would even bring such a question to him. He talked about his family wealth, the family he comes from. I don't still know that family, to be honest. I hear people saying, oh, he comes from, I don't know. I don't know the family. And some people may not know the family. I don't know his source of income. I don't know him to be wealthy from any place apart from being a former minister or whatnot. So I don't know. Can you inform this public? To let them know, oh, is this guy really broke? Or do you think he defected because he was broke or he is broke? Maybe not broke again anyway.
It's two ways,
Yeah.
right? Because as viewers, we may never be able to really tell if he's broke or not.
No, I disagree with you. We should be able to tell. We should be able to identify your
You don't have
sources of
access to his
income.
bank account.
No, not bank account, Mr.
So you
Wale.
wouldn't know if he's broke or not. This is someone who was a former special assistant to OBJ.
And also a former minister.
Of Culture and Tourism.
Okay.
And then a former minister of Aviation.
Okay, so he must have stashed up.
And then you recall the Dasuki arms deal
Yes.
that he went to put. So
Dasuki
let's yeah. So if you want to talk about him being broke, then you have to come up with facts. Fine, it's been said that he doesn't have a known emphasis on the word known. He may have properties that is taking rent from. He may not have an official business like we like to know an office situated somewhere. It's possible because somebody should have pointed us out and say he has X, Y, and Z. So in the absence of that, he may not really necessarily be broke. You understand? He may still have. We saw what happened. His ordeal in Kuje coming back and all that. But of course, we're in an environment where if you leave a vacuum somewhere, people will fill the void for you. And that is why you see, I think it's more the circumstances with which he defected that is leading to that question of whether he's broke or not. This is somebody who has staunchly criticized Buhari, his government, and the APC. You understand? And then when you defect, people expect that you should tell us. I think this is where people have issues. People like myself. This is where I have issues with FFK. I expect him to tell me that this is the reason I'm defecting. Then the things you have said about
tell you in what
Buhari
capacity?
and the APC that you said security, unemployment. Then you should tell us what has changed. Are those things no longer there anymore, or is there an improvement? So you're not telling us what you're saying. But you're telling us that you wrongly criticize Buhari. Nobody's going to buy that. Nigerians are not going to buy that.
And let's not forget that he said also, that he is coming to save Nigeria from breaking up. So another question still, you have said you don't think he's broke. That's your opinion. Excuse me.
No, I said he may or may not.
He may, exactly.
I couldn't ascertain, yeah.
All right, yeah. So, which I don't still know as well, but we know our politicians can be hungry and everybody's looking after their stomachs, because you can say one thing today and the next day, your mind has changed. What made your mind? And you really cannot tell us, just like you've said right now, why your mind has changed. Because he came out to say Buhari is not a bad person. So looking at these aspects of him saying he wants to help save Nigeria from breaking up, and we have the Southwest PDP and other, even Nigerians that have chimed in, say, like, who are you? You have never even won an election in your polling unit. You have never been elected to an office. You have only been appointed. Do you think somebody like Fani-Kayode can save Nigeria from breaking up?
I think the first questions to ask is, it was a member of the PDP, defected to the APC, returned to the PDP, and now back in the APC. So if you look at that antecedent, then we ask ourselves, has it done anything notable to warrant even putting him among those who will be the savior for Nigeria? I don't see it in context. Okay. Rather, I feel the PDP has left. They're even heaving a sigh of relief that a burden, a baggage has left them. And I think for majority of people in APC, they know him. They know his character. Forget that he's been welcomed into their fold. I think if anybody should be worried, it should be Femi Adesina.
I heard that one as well for his job.
That's the only person I think should be worried. I don't think, you said.
Do you really think that genuinely that he should be worried? I saw that, I saw Reno True that up there. Do you think Buhari would contemplate FFK as a spokesman?
That's a question for another day. But in terms of competency, capacity, FFK does that kind of job well.
Yeah, he's a lawyer.
It was because of him. If you recall, during Obasanjo's administration then, this guy was on air. Every policy Obasanjo was bringing,
and he knows how to
talking the guy down. Obasanjo had to create an image laundry department. And that's how he started with the special assistant on public affairs. You understand? That was how it started. It was then he later moved on to be Minister of Culture and Tourism and then Aviation. The same thing too he did against Jonathan. He started, lashing out at him. He said Buhari, Boko Haram Jonathan has infiltrated Boko Haram, and his government is part of it. Even went as far as saying Jonathan was going to compromise the 2015 general elections. What happened in the end? Jonathan made him a DG campaign of publicity of his. So the antecedents to follow. So when you're not talking about lightweight, featherweight, I don't think the whoever made that lightweight issue, they didn't make a mistake. It actually qualifies. But when we're talking about where his competency is at, that public affairs speaking, I think Femi should be worried.
Mr. Nimi, Femi Fani-Kayode is broke. Earlier, you were talking about the 800 million his wife is asking for earlier, and you were saying he cannot pay. Or he may not be able to pay. Anyway, do you think Fani Kayode is broke financially? Do you think he's hungry? That's why he ran to APC.
Financially, I cannot speak to the state of his financials. No, because I'm not his account officer. I'm going somewhere.
You know.
But I honestly believe, it is my own honest belief. I'm even thanking God that we don't have Fani Kayode live here for him to berate me for what I'm about to say. But I honestly believe what Obasanjo said about Fani Kayode as give him food and he will dance and sing praises for you. I believe he's morally broke. I believe he's mentally broke. I also believe he's psychologically broke.
Oh my God.
Because if you look at the antecedents of Fani Kayode, he's always in the news for one thing or the other. It's never a good thing. It's either he's cross-carpeting today or he's having a domestic dispute.
Something controversial.
Yeah, something controversial.
Screaming at the journalists.
He's always screaming at journalists. This is someone that is a lawyer. He's supposed to guard free speech. But you are being asked the question 2 times now. He has done it on national TV. So that's why I say this guy is broke. I can say maybe he has something financially. You know what we are even calling broke for all these men? Maybe before they used to have 500 million, now they are just having like 100 million.
Yeah,
I'm broke.
Maybe that kind of exactly. Maybe their brokenness, no be a
brokenness. Maybe that is what must have prompted him to even move. And again, Mr. Bakare, not to counter you, but you were saying something like he should inform you that this is what has changed. For God's sake, he's a politician. He's not going to inform you about anything.
Don't you think Nigerians deserve to know why your position has changed?
At this stage, do Nigerians even know what we deserve?
There's one thing for him to even inform us. Then we have eyes we can see, so he can come and tell us. So the fact that he says different, is that enough for us to change our minds or change our perception about the president that we see and the things that we see as well? You know, I understand you though.
We won't change... our perception of
but what just tell your people something.
You understand, but he won't insult us by telling us you wrongly criticize them.
But he has insulted us in time past from moving from PDP, APC, PDP. That's already an insult on the intelligence of Nigerians.
Personal thing at that time, because most people, cross-carpeting is in this Nigerian context is a normal phenomenon,
which is not supposed to be so.
That's what I said in the Nigerian context.
And he has done this consistently, and I honestly believe he does not even have any weight in the political space. The only thing Fani Kayode can do is to talk and insult. There's no other. He can't even sway votes.
So arrogant, though.
Yes.
I hate the arrogance.
He also has issue of integrity.
He has lost his integrity.
How do I mean? This was a guy in April 2020 who told all of us that we should avoid the COVID-19 vaccines. That is evil and millions of Nigerians will die. This guy made a U-turn in March 2021 and he took the vaccine.
He took the vaccine.
There might be little, but these are things that people aggregate to say, when he speaks, we don't...
He stands on...
making sense.
He stands on issues.
Because somebody as well that still said over his dead body, will he ever go back
to the APC? And then today, we find him shining his teeth, sitting at the table.
Said to the president's son,
yeah.
When he had an accident. Those are things that, do you go back to?
I think even his criticism is filled with so much hate and insult. It's so vile. Thank you, Mr. Bakare, for that. It's so vile. Like, I don't even see the substance. I'm like, why is he still frolicking with these persons? Why is he still friends with all these persons? Like, Fani Kayode is someone like, you should just, I think in the political space, but there's this thing Nigerians like to do with our nose. I think that's what a lot of people would do to Fani Kayode. In the APC, in the PDP, everywhere.
Yeah, and I really still question what his agenda is, because we've talked about relevance. You're not he was only relevant when he spoke the minds of Nigerians, where we could rely on him as a voice, to criticize the government, to call out things that people were thinking in their minds. But when people are not looking at you right now and you don't look like somebody we can trust, you're here today, you're there tomorrow. Are you speaking for us or are you speaking for yourself? And when people realize that you are speaking for yourself and not really fighting for the people, I think like they have abandoned him now. We have abandoned him. I don't know what he's going to do from here onwards.
Were you relying on him before to speak for you?
I was not. I'm speaking like people.
What of you, Mr. Bakare?
I think people don't usually know when to draw the line between criticism and when there's an agenda.
Betrayal.
Yes, you understand?
Yeah,
so it's always lost.
yeah.
Most times that criticism is good, so it's always lost in. You don't even care whatever ulterior motive that person has. You are more concerned because
this person is speaking.
Understand? So when it now takes him to get to this other divide, for you to now see through, you now filter and say, oh, yes, he was talking about Boko Haram, but why are you going to talk about things you cannot validate? Those are the parts that we don't question. So I think that's I don't think anybody really thinks it speaks for them or anything.
Anyway, we wish him well. I hope wherever he's seeking, he shall find.
Mr. Sal.
Yeah, wherever he seeks.
I'm speaking like a pastor now.
Wherever he seeks.
At the end of the day, he's going to be a laughing
he
stock.
should be careful though, because he sworn himself. You don't go out and just saying over my dead body and wherever. Right now you're boasting, and even the people are helping you to boast now to say, oh, he's still alive. Anyway, whatever you seek, I hope you find. Anyway, let's move on from here. So a brand new political party or forum, because I don't know what this is. They said political party, but when this became public, all of them are running out to say, no, it's not a political party, it's a forum. Anyway, so a brand new political party / forum known as the Rescue Nigeria Project has emerged just ahead of the 2023 general elections. The founders of the forum include a former governor of Kwara State, Ahmed Abdul-Fatai, renowned economist Professor Pat Utomi, a former minister of education, Professor Tunde Adeniran, and a former governor of Cross River State, Donald Duke, among others. In his opening remarks, the RNP national coordinator Usman Bugaje explained that the Rescue Nigeria Project was founded on the premise that the challenges bedeviling the country are largely derived from poor leadership. He stated, and I quote, so he said, when you reduce the problems of this country to what they are, ultimately, it all comes to leadership. Any attempt to rescue this country from its troubles must first rescue it from the current leadership recruitment mechanism that seems to leverage on money and connection, or ethnic sentiment and no premium on knowledge or competence. He goes on to say, we must change the conversation about leadership. The first thing we should want to know about our president is not which part of the country he or she comes from, rather how competent is he or she? What is the content of his policy document? What is his team made of? Yeah, we were talking about teams earlier. We also seek to ensure a seismic shift from the politics of big men to the politics of big ideas. The empty politics of big men have not taken us anywhere but down the drain. We simply cannot continue this way. Yep. What do you guys think about this Rescue Nigeria project? Not really the... okay. Yeah, what do we think about the project, and what do we think about these arguments he has made here? Talking about the mechanism in which we pick our presidents or our governors or other elected officers. Do you guys think the chairman here is making any point by saying we need to leave the old way we have done before, which has not really worked, and start looking out for different things, start asking for policy documents, start looking for competence, forget about ethnicity, forget about what region the person comes from. Mr. Wale, do you think we need to shift from politics of big men to politics of big ideas?
Yes, Of course, in terms of the substance of what they are trying to look at, it's a very, very genuine one. It's valid.
Yep.
Like an old departure from the usual big men politics, money politics, godfatherism, and all that. So yes, they have a valid point. However, I feel the approach is still suspect. You understand? When you look at the composition of the group itself, it looks like minus Sultan. Okay, yeah, inclusive of Utomi.
Former INEC chairman is there, Sha.
That's what is the only one I want to exonerate. Minus Jega. It also looked like aggrieved former.
Why are you exonerating Jega?
Jaga, I don't know.
Why are you exonerating Jega?
I think
People they vex say Jaga did better.
yeah, I think somehow maybe the way he handled the 2015 election.
Yeah, that's why people are angry that he put us here.
You put
So maybe that's why they used the word rescue.
But he did his job. He was the chairman. He did his job as
Mr.
the chairman.
Wally, that's a topic for another day because
Exactly.
people will drag you on that
Yes.
issue.
Yeah. So I think it's counterproductive, to be honest. I still think the context. You see, when we're talking about change can happen from within.
No one change again. No.
You understand? Well, sorry, I mean,
No one change
using the
again.
word, change.
Yes.
When you want to see something different
Yes.
from what you're used to,
Yeah.
it can happen from within. You don't need to abandon a structure and build. I mean, you don't demolish and make a new building because you want to kill a rat buried under the foundation. You understand? So I still feel that at the end of the day, this is still tilting towards the third force. Whether you call it project, whether you call it party, they are still tilting towards the third force.
The field.
Why do you think so? I don't think so.
No, I think so because they already told you that it's
It's
a
still not
project
forum.
/ party. So why do you want to do away with the party and focus on the forum? So let's take both, as they have said. So forum in the sense that they would create a lot of awareness, a lot of things will go behind the scene to bring credible people on board, to start a conversation about policy. Let's scrutinize the people we're bringing over. So that's the project aspect of it. What about the political part?
Okay.
That's why I said we can't. So at the end of the day, you're still having people coming together to say, maybe at the end of the day, they will now say, oh, let's look for SDP, all the smaller parties, let's look for APGA, let's look for this, let's look for that, let's come on board together and, you understand? So if that happens, right, the question then again is the timing right? That's one. Secondly, you now start to talk about funding and structure. Before we go back to say, oh, the APC came together in 2013 and did this and did that, yada, yada. Let's look at the caliber of people who came on board. In fact, it was just like the who is who in the political scene, who came on board to bring resources and all that. So for me, being honest here, I still think the context is between APC and PDP. It is now left for people who are, willing to, like I was having a discussion with someone yesterday, I said, whoever is going to become the next, we can shout all we want, we can say whatever we want, whoever is going to become the next president of Nigeria, either from the APC or PDP bloc or whatever, is still going to be somebody hovering within the system.
Okay, but Mr. Wale, I want to say, you are looking more the composition of these and the structure of this group right now. Me, I'm looking at the things they have said right now. So even if
but how do you actualize it?
Even if we're still going to get a president from APC or from PDP, which are the popular parties, but I feel like we need a body, that should how will I put it right now? We need a body that should implement some kind of requirements.
Like a gatekeeper type thing.
Yeah, we need some kind of check, that can require these political parties to make their candidates submit something like a policy document. Yes, that will not be made public for Nigerians to not know. This is your candidate or this is your party. Let your party have a policy document. It's not a case where, you go about the 36 states and make promises. Then when you come into power and you don't fulfill and they call you out on your promises, you not come out and say, no, we never said anything. Because that happened with the APC right now, with the $1 to $1 and other things. President came out many times to say they never said all those things. And those things were on billboard campaigns, probably not even done by them, but done by their supporters. But when we have a case where there is a policy document, these are the things, these are policies. They even talked about here, presenting your team. Who are going to be your ministers? We saw Buhari struggle the first time for months. This is a president that campaigned for how many times to show us who is part of your team, who are the people. Let's know before then. We see what happens in America now. Like he already knows who is going to be minister of this, minister of whatever, and he even start letting people know beforehand. I feel like we need that. So I'm looking more at the mechanism that he talked about. In as much as we still have APC, PDP, fine and good, but the modus of operation, the mode of operation, do we change it? Do we need to change it? Yes, I say yes, we need to change it. Whether it's RNP, whether it's whatever P, we need to change. President tomorrow, don't just tell me, Bola Tinubu or whatever, is the godfather, is the capo. No, show me a policy document, what you intend to do, who are going to be your ministers, who are going to head these ministries, departments, and agencies. So I really don't know what their intentions are, but wherever they are put forth, I buy.
Okay, I think
I
just went on the right.
Thank you so much for the long speech, Mr. Sam.
I don't know, man. Yes.
I think the idea behind it is laudable. Let me first of all give them that one.
Yeah.
But we are in Nigeria and we are Nigerians,
Can we stop saying this?
And we know that it's all just semantics. You call it forum, you call it alliance, you call it political party.
No. We don't know.
We know what they are here for. Look at the personalities.
You back to 2019.
Look at the personalities.
2019. Now this is 2023.
But there was a similar thing.
Yes.
Do you recall the mega party?
Yeah, but at what point do we now say that something different is about to happen?
Nothing different is happening with this one. If they were just neutral persons,
that's what I want
that
to
were
see.
fielded,
who are going to be neutral persons.
We don't want to hear about it. Someone like, let me use myself now.
A coalition of civil society groups coming to do this.
Very good.
Take them serious.
We'll take them because
not a former governor.
The problem,
whose house was recently seized.
Mr. Sal and Mr. Bakare.
I don't even want to go to that.
Our problem in Nigeria is not new political parties. I hope you know.
It's not a political party.
It's a political. That's what they are doing now. They are just. I say it's semantics.
No,
they are calling it. They are calling it forum. They are calling it forum. They are calling it alliance. They are calling it committee, commission, anything you call it. We all know what they aim for. The end game is they are trying to form a third force. They are trying to sway political power in 2023, which I know is not going to happen because this is Nigeria.
So you think this great content here was just trash?
When they've already seized someone's house that is owing 5 billion.
They didn't seize Donald Duke's house now.
No, but it's little by little now. This one now, they are trying to show you that, okay.
Patutomi has integrity.
I'm very, very sure that as time goes by, many other things will unfold. This one now, they are just trying to let him know that, okay, you want to come and collect political power in 2023. Don't worry, we'll show you that we still have files on you. And then they've gone, they've seized the house.
Who is right in this case? The one that is coming to attack them or the one that is being attacked?
That's what I'm telling you. That our problem in this country is not new political party. Our problem is actually Nigerians ourselves. We actually need a reorientation. We already have plethora of political parties. What are they doing?
Asking for policy documents and showing us your team, is that not going to be part of
in 2019? Even in 2015, I was one person that listened so much to Professor Yemi Osibanjo. They had a lot of policy documents. They had a lot of things. They had a lot of white paper. But where are we now? Even in 2019, the same thing. Did you hear Peter Obi talk about those policies and everything? Did you hear Osibanjo counter him? They've presented a whole lot of papers, but where are we now? So I strongly feel we don't need any political party. We don't need any policy document. We just, Nigerians ourselves, we need a reorientation that we should actually make Nigeria work for ourselves. If not, it's going to be the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, but when you say we should make Nigeria work for ourselves,
we should make Nigeria work for ourselves.
They're saying their focus, this is your group now. They're saying their focus, right, is creating new standard for leadership.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. So, by that statement, do they even also have, something similar to a manifesto on how they want to go about this? So, if I even lean towards your side, if I expect that they can stay neutral, to say the only thing we're interested in is just, upsetting the status quo. We want to, whether you are whatever party you belong, you want to be president, these are the set guidelines. You have to go through certain drillings, and we grill you. You show Nigerians that these are your intentions. So if you talk about insecurity, what you going to do? Economy, what you want to do? You understand?
Mr. Bakri, we've heard all those things in time
let's
past.
even say they are repeating what we've known before.
Yes.
Right? If this time around, the people who used to do that are like the fourth realm, the media.
Yes.
You understand? Which at some point, some will say our own our platform was not carried along and yada, yada, yada. So if we have people of this caliber coming to say, we're not interested in floating another party, we're not even interested in endorsing a candidate, we just, for posterity's sake, we want on record that let it be said that this was done, that we created a network or platform or whatever they want to call it, and say we acted as gatekeeper. We sieved through CVs, we called people so that Nigerians can be better informed in making the ultimate decision to vote. So if Nigerians now vote wrong, they can hold their head high and say we did our best. Or if the person gets there eventually and renege on whatever promises, it's now left for Nigerians to say, okay, we're here again. Do we reward the person with a second term? So, but like you said, it's beyond this.
It's beyond this,
What we need
honestly
is
speaking.
reforms within those parties. That's just that's what I want to say.
I like the way you have said it right now. If they can take the position you have asked them to take right now, I think it will look more genuine and will actually ignore the composition of the structure of whatever force or whatever forum they claim that they are. Because if a former governor is there, even if his property was just seized, but the forum is saying, we're not even interested in any political office, we're just laying down things that you guys should look out for, things you should demand for that can help you pick better leaders or help us pick better leaders for the country. I understand where you're coming from concerning that. Anyway, let's move. So the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, on Tuesday stated that Kaduna State would need 140 billion naira from the federal government in order to put together 14 ranches in the state at the cost of 10 billion naira each to fully settle the Fulani herdsmen and their families. The governor said this while speaking to newsmen during a visit to the National Secretariat of the APC in Abuja. So this caused a lot of outrage from the public, with many Nigerians wondering why the federal government or even the state government should play any role in financing the ranches for the Fulani herdsmen and their families. Some argued that if the government can financially compensate, and support the Fulani herdsmen, what happens to the farmers who have lost their crops, their lives, and lives of their family members to these Fulani herdsmen? Because there's no talk because there's no talk of any compensation for the victims. Okay, so we ran this story earlier this week, yeah? So what the governor actually said, so he says he's already sourced for 10 billion already, build one ranch, and he says he needs to build 14 more ranches. And it was like, if the government can help him with 140 billion, 10 billion each, then there will be no single Fulani herdsman roaming the streets. So the first thing I want us to look out for before we talk about the fact that, okay, what happens to these families? I'm like, yeah, is ranching supposed to be a private business or a government business? Yep. So that's number one. Is ranching supposed to be private business or government business? Because we have been hearing in different states, governments are saying they will support. We don't know the kind of support, but El-Rufai, he just laid down his own right now to say, hey, I need 140 billion to settle these people. We've even talked here where we say, oh, they need to even train these people because they're used to moving from one place to the other. To be honest, man, I feel like these people are getting, the first class treatment is getting too much. Yeah, they're walking on eggshells. around them is getting too much.
And
That's why we had somebody from the Northern Elders Forum come out this week to say Fulani is Northerners are first-class citizens. I think it's getting out of hand and it's getting too much. Mr. Wale, let me talk to Mr. Nemi first. Yeah, it's branching. Fulani carrying cow from here to is this supposed to be a private business?
First of all,
government business.
First of all, I think El-Rufai, he makes it hard to love him completely.
Because to really love him, or to be honest.
No, sometimes he does things. I think 2 weeks ago we were talking about what he said concerning the reform in the educational sector in the northern part of Nigeria. So sometimes he says things and does things, and we laud him for it. And then all of a sudden, this just derails. Like, what is the meaning of government should help you with 150 billion?
40.
140. He said he has gotten 10 billion already.
No, that's part of the whole full sum is 140.
140 billion. That's just for Kaduna State alone.
Yes, so
they are pressing.
And he said families. Let's not forget that family.
There are so much pressing issues that can be attended to. There's the issue of bandits these days, kidnapping, and so many other things. But it's ranching that's on the mind of El-Rufai as a governor. Ranching that is private. It's not by, I think I was telling Mr. Wale, it's not by force for us to eat cow meat. Even the milk, we don't even benefit from it. So what is the essence? What is the essence?
I say first class citizens. See people like seriously first class citizens. Because at the end of the day, there's one truth as well that I want to, because the way we talk about this thing, because even the last time, it just did not cross my mind. We talked about, gathering these people to now teach them because they're used to walking from here to there with their cows. We now have to make them be able to stay in one place. And please, Mr. The cows here, that Fulani herdsmen and Fulani herds boys and herds children walk around Nigeria with.
Who owns them?
They belong to them? They don't. They don't belong to them. So if the owners of the cattle can tell them, I don't want you carrying my cattle from here again, stay here, then we stay there. Because they're not the owners of the cattle. They're not.
And
anyway,
even that 10 billion, the way the whole thing is arranged, and the way he said it, it's almost like as if he wants to settle them. Just like the way the whole Boko Haram, repentant Boko Haram and the Niger Delta military, it's almost like, okay, this is another settlement scheme. So we are going to source for 10 billion or 140 billion or whatever the amount is, and then we are going to settle them. Imagine. Like...
you see, that takes me back to the NLTP. Project, the National Livestock Transformation Plan. So the government then wanted to, by the way, this is different from Ruga.
Yes, that's the disguise of Ruga. Anyway.
the government wanted to raise the 100 billion, right? So that the federal government, will be the one to cough out 80%.
Wait, 100 billion for the whole country?
Yes. Then
and everybody is active for 140 now.
Then the 20% will be bought by the state governors. So you can imagine each, but that didn't even succeed. Because if you divide 20 billion by what number of states we have, it should be affordable. But even at that, it was something they were not able to pull through for some certain reason. So it just shows you that we're not really still tackling the key issues here. You understand? We want peace, yet we're not ready to do what's required, to have that honest conversation that will lead to peace. We talk about this region being marginalized, and then we are promoting things. These governors are promoting things that will make other states, seem as if. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Yes. So there's a double standard in decisions and what we call for. You ask yourself, fine, I understand that if you look culturally, right, I know what these northern governors are trying to do with this whole thing. I know what they're trying to do.
What are they trying to do, Mr. Wale? Tell me, I don't know.
It's not something that is palatable to say. You understand?
Sugarcoat
but I indulge us to do a research on the history of this Fulani herdsmen. You understand? You will now realize that it's an ingrained culture.
The Fulani
Right.
herdsmen
But
are
what-
employed by people now.
But what they've not been able to do is to separate. They're trying to lump the culture with your own economic advantage. They should be two different things. Your culture should not clash. If it's going to clash with your own state economy, then it shouldn't be at the expense of the larger states.
Yeah.
So that's the situation now. I mean, that's a private business. Does the question? I'm like the government during FEC meeting to deliberate on this.
I think they want it to be a public-private partnership.
Like the proceed from the cow, does it go into the federal government's coffer? I
You
mean,
know?
that's simple enough.
And that argument that other people make as well, like me right now, I want to build, let me put it out there in case, I want to build 12 unit block of flats. I can't go and meet the government right now to fund it.
Citizen?
Exactly. I cannot go and meet the government to fund it. And that one will never cost up to 100 million. Yeah, but I cannot go. So why should you have access to 100 billion?
A perfect example. But then the government's inability to provide those units for you, does it lead to a threat in peace and unity in the country?
Which is less threat and peace of whatever.
you don't understand what I'm
Nobody
saying.
should be a threat for anything, wherever.
He's
We have
talking about the government.
Nigerian army and wherever that should handle any situation. Anyway, Mr. Wale, sorry.
So I'm saying that we already have a situation on ground.
Yeah.
There's the people like Fulani herdsmen are destroying farmers, they're destroying their produce, they are attacking, villagers and legitimate people. But in your own case, you don't have a case because your own inability for government to build your 12 unit doesn't, except maybe when
Doesn't
you start
result to
showing
anything.
arms.
Wait,
Yes.
so should Bad Boys right now, sorry to bring them into this nonsense, because I know these are legit business people, so should the Igbo people doing business in the north right now carry up arms right now, with the mindset that if we're a threat to the government will come and give us money to make us calm down. What precedent is the government setting? We have to look at that as well.
Python will dance. So
Yeah.
if they do that, Python will dance.
Yeah, so
So they can't.
Exactly, because we are the ones agitating. We are seeing.
so the point I was trying to make was let's not create more examples.
Let's not create more examples, to be honest.
Let's just look inward. We've already accepted that this is not realistic. I mean, if that ranching thing, if the ranch is a priority project for Kaduna State Government, I know the governor to be very versatile. He's somebody who is very outspoken, and
Proactive and all
he has
that.
the wherewithal to source the fund externally.
And he's not, another thing, sorry. El-Rufai is not even saying that, okay, if I get 140 billion to create these ranches in so and so years, we should be able to do 560 trillion or whatever. He's not even looking at it economically.
He doesn't have a control. I mean, why would you say what you don't have a control over? He's not going to be the one to control the economy of the.
So they're not even looking at this economically.
They are not looking at it generating revenue.
That was why I said an immigrant culture mixing with the economy, which should not.
And this is the same El-Rufai in Abuja here that demolished properties. But we have to look at all these things. There was no compensation for, and everybody went on with their businesses. Everybody, they come, they say your house is not supposed to be here. Here is supposed to be amusement park. Brush it down. You cry. You move on.
There was some sort of compensation for people who had legit.
So they went to court.
Yes, people who had legit.
The ones that had legit.
Legitimate reasons to be on that property. But if your house, kind of like encroach or was not part of Abuja's master plan, I know that a lot of persons, like all those Iju side and all that, a lot of persons lost their house. But there was compensation because even I too.
Farmers that their crops were destroyed. Families killed. Farmers that were killed as well. We have never heard that I don't know if you guys have heard, or me, I've not heard that any family or any farmer was compensated. You see how this thing could cost really, all these things that they think might unite Nigeria, might end up dividing this country and tearing the country apart.
Mr. Bakre said something that we should not create another example. I think that's what you were saying, right? So the failure to compensate those people now that have lost their property, lost lives and others, and might now create another kind of, herdsmen situation. Is that what you're saying?
No. What I was trying to say was that we shouldn't try to. I mean, of course, another example was someone used the people, the Alabas.
Yes.
That how come they're allowed to, do their own business freely without anybody asking them to, So I was saying we should not create further example. Why? Because we already know what it is.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So let's just say it the way it is, that this is not a sustainable thing to do. Do you understand? You can make all of the examples you want to, but we'll still come back to this same issue that it is not sustainable. Kaduna State Government cannot afford it. Even the federal government cannot afford it.
Even if you can afford it, don't do it.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So when we now look at that, we now talk about it's the farmers that should be up in arms, saying, I've lost this. This is the sole sustenance for my family. I can't. They're not even doing that. The farmers, like you said, they just dust their thing and move on. They wait for next planting season. They count their loss. So we're just setting a precedent for what we can't even predict. We can't even predict what can happen, what this can lead to. You understand? Ethnic, communal, whatever you want to call it. But I like to see justice served. I like to see it. Okay, do we have catalog of farmers in each state, in each local government?
Yeah, suffered losses.
Do you understand?
Suffered losses.
There should be a way,
Livestock,
the same way
that.
if something happens in my constituency, I can go to my senator or lawmaker's constituency office and lodge a complaint. That's where petition arises from. Unlawful dismissal from service, and you lay a petition, and the person looks at it like, no, this is injustice, brings it on the floor of the plenary for discussion, and Senate will now, by the power conferred on it, order that investigation into that thing. They come up with their report, and then they take action. I don't see, it seems like the poor people, the people who are mostly affected, if it's not a big man thing, they often get neglected. There's nobody. There's no association that actually cater to this sector of the society.
I think some NGOs should start looking at that. Especially those farmers that are suffering for. I think
they're vulnerable. Yeah. So is there anybody coming? Because I don't think if I'm a farmer and I'm affected, I don't think I can on my own in isolation. Who do I go and meet? Except we're a group where we would have a voice if we come together as a group and say, this is what we've lost. These are evidences, pictures, let's take you down there. But if we leave it to the farmers to individually go there, they don't even know where the government house is. They don't even know who to talk to.
Yeah, but see though, the Fulani herdsmen, they really don't know where to go to, but they have governors speaking on their behalf. They have other politicians speaking on their behalf and fighting for their rights. I think this thing is so...
talking about, that it's not balanced.
Anyway.
It's really not balanced.
Anyway, let's go, Jerry. So, the former lawmaker representing Kaduna Central Senatorial District in the 8th Senate, Senator Shehu Sani, has stated that the President Buhari federal government cannot absolve itself from the horror and tragedy Nigerians experience every day of their lives if it refuses to name and shame the sponsors of terrorism in the country as revealed to it by the government of the United Arab Emirates, that's UAE, many months ago. Says Senator Shehu Sani was reacting to the presidency, saying that the federal government is not interested in naming and shaming the sponsors of terrorists in the country. Also, the AGF, that's the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, said on Wednesday that revealing the identities of the sponsors now will intervene with the ongoing aggressive investigation. I don't know what he meant by aggressive investigation, but that's the word he used, and will affect the successes recorded so far in fighting against insecurity in the country. So this was a hot, popular topic this week, I think the AGF even still updated yesterday as well and said that, they have blocked the financiers, the financing of terrorism in Nigeria. Which account did you block, Oga? Because when it was NSAS, we all knew the accounts, the names of all the sponsors and whatever. They were dragged to court. Their names were publicly pasted everywhere, and this talk
is the channel. The conduit, like the loop to plug to the loophole.
The loophole connect to somebody, Abi.
Yes, those are the people in question.
Still, you have blocked it though. But why do you think the government, people have been asking many months right now? This started earlier in the year. We're in end of September, show us sponsors of terrorism that you did not even finger out by yourself. Another country has helped you finger out the sponsors of terrorism in your country. Is it wrong to, I don't know, what's people's take on this though? Do you think the government is right by still shielding the names, or the identities of these people?
Okay, for me, I think I agree with the call by a majority of Nigerians saying they want to, know. But then the question I ask is, today, if government decides to publish their name, let's say 100 or 200, what do we make of the name? I mean, I'm saying from the perspective of just the viewers, right?
Yes.
So what it does is, this person. Yes, you have the name, but at the end of the day, we can't do anything about it. Do you get what I'm saying? It's a legitimate call.
Why do you think they can't do anything about it? At least it will help us move. It will help us know, okay. It will do a lot, in my opinion.
Okay, I even think recently, Sarah Report has published about 40 names today of those. I don't know how they got the list.
I'm not even going with that. I need government to confirm to me
that.
I'm
saying that majority of the people on that list were like Bureau de Change
people.
Yes,
so I feel that yes, people deserve to know who is, because it's almost seeming like your inability to put out this list seems like you are shielding them, so to say, even though the AGF Malami has said that the arrest was done in accordance with law and they followed due process. So is it a case of, if you release this list now, it jeopardizes this ongoing investigation? Because I feel that if you are trying to arrive at somewhere, you understand, and you feel that doing this damage control at some point, I mean, if the government wanted to play it cool, they could even release some name and everybody would just keep quiet.
That's what I'm saying, though. In my head, I feel like nobody was even arrested.
But if the effective thing to do is to say, we have senior lawyers, we have SAN, who should be aware if there's an ongoing investigation or a court proceeding, whatever, they should be aware to say that, okay, this person have been charged to court, and these are the. So the problem with this is that it seems like there are no timelines, and if people do not agitate, it seems you won't even hear anything about it again. So those are the real issues we need to start to address. Are there timelines? When should we expect that this investigation will be done? Okay, after that, what is the next step? Without that, I mean, all of us, including Nigerians, we're all in the dark. And when you're in the dark, you can impugn anything, you can assume, it's all fair. I mean, in war. So
to me, everything looks very suspicious.
Anyway. For me, I'm very sorry. You guys might come for my head for this, but I actually stand with the AG, or I relate very well what the AG is saying, that, the names of these persons should be kept on a low. Left for me, I believe that their names should not even come to the general public until after investigations have been concluded and we know that, okay, these persons are actually culpable and guilty. Because much of the fight against terrorism in Nigeria...
You have said investigation right now for that. You are saying even the court process.
Yes. I feel everything...
So why did they not do that with the NSAS sponsors?
Well, sometimes governments come up with policies and actions that you cannot really explain, but... Let's come back to what we're talking about now. That's this fight against this fight against terrorism. I feel much of the fight against terrorism has always been so much in the media. There was a time that they were said some foreigners came, I think some foreign soldiers and all that they've caught someone. It was in news, I think that 2014 or 2015. I just felt this was too much information out in the media space. We are not meant to know. We are just supposed to come the next day, just like it happened in the US, and they came out and they said they've killed bin Laden. That's what we are supposed to hear, that this particular operation was carried out so and so time and this. And I agree with what Mr. Wale was saying about timelines. Although that's the only place I can fault them and say, okay, there are no timelines for this thing. If the AG should say, okay, these are the timelines, how we are going to achieve this, good and fine. But for knowing the names, for publishing those names, I feel it's not helped Nigerians. It's not a good step. The way they are handling the situation now, I feel is the best.
Do you trust them?
The AG.
Yeah, do you trust the government?
The government.
Yeah. Do you trust them in handling this situation?
Do I trust the government?
No, beyond trust, I should naturally believe
yes.
A set of people, who set out to destroy a government, your own government, where you are trying to build infrastructure, make life better for people, you understand? They should never be protected. I think, if anything, these are people who want to trouble your government, who wants to make everything ungovernable for you. You understand? So I don't think beyond trust, I think it makes no sense to me to think that I will protect my enemy. Do you understand?
But you know,
because I have to speak from the street. I have to speak from the reactions on comments on social media, because those are the voices of Nigerians. There have been comments of Nigerians that think the government allegedly is behind everything. There are speculations from Nigerians that think or they believe that the government knows everything that is going on. They know the people behind everything that is going on. We have had prominent figures, one of them just passed, that have come out in public to say that the sponsors of these terrorists in Nigeria are top government officials. Some of them are serving governors, some of them are serving senators, some of them are even in the Aso Rock presidential villa. These are prominent Nigerians that have come out to say these things. So when you say, the government will not want to shield people that are destroying its own government, or the works of its hands or whatever, I have to raise this up because these are things as well that Nigerians have said. These are allegations that have been made and speculations as well. So
the structure of our governance and government in Nigeria is very, very complex. There's this scratch your back, I scratch my back mentality or whatever it is that goes on. So let's say hypothetically, the president now, he has immunity. The governors, deputy governors, they have immunity. Them getting there, they had some certain persons that projected them, maybe financially or otherwise, that put them in that particular position they are now. And now those persons, hypothetical, we are seeing a hypothetical illustration. Those persons now, their names are now listed as Boko Haram sponsors. What do you think they will do? Do you think they will out them? Or do you think they will protect them?
If you're coming to me as a government of integrity, you will not think twice.
Mr. Sal, I made you president. And then I came out to you to tell you that I have integrity.
I mean, finance. My coming here was based on integrity.
If you had integrity, you wouldn't have been in bed with me. You wouldn't have collected money from me, first of all. So this is still a hypothetical illustration.
I get you, though.
But so that's how it is. It's a very, very complex situation, which I do not think should be so. Yeah. If you are saying, okay, you are going to run your government based on integrity, let it be so. But when you see that these particular persons now are in power, and then you get a document that says this person that helped you go to that particular position is a financier of terrorism, is a financier of Boko Haram, what do you do? Your hands are tied. You dance around the situation until...
Anyway, with the way they're going about it, I don't expect anything to come out from this.
But for me, the name should
don't expect anything to come out from DCP Abakari's case as well. Let me just put that out there. I'm not talking about that one, though. I'm not expecting anything. They don't submit report how many years ago.
Do you know I've forgotten about that?
Anyway, I'm not talking. Let me move. I'm not expecting any... I don't trust the government. I don't think the government has any integrity or whatnot. And I just think it's very shameful that there will be names of terrorists. We're not hearing that the court case is going on because you talked about I've not heard about any court case going on. This has been months. Normally, when you arrest people, you have 24.
There are some close hearings.
48 hours. There's no close hearing. When they were doing that Suki's close hearing, we had.
There can be close hearings.
I'm not going to let you guys defend this thing on this platform because I'm the voice of the people.
That's hilarious. Dude, even laughed after saying
Are we supposed to laugh now? We are talking about terrorism. I think our
No,
face.
I'm the voice of the
should-
people.
okay.
That's all I'm
He's
laughing.
He's the voice of the people.
Being the voice of the people.
Oh my God! Oh, can we? You want to say something? What's that?
No, I wanted to take you, but you said you don't want to
No,
talk
I'm
about
not talking
it.
about
But it's about Professor
the
Ponde.
kids. Until Americans come and pick him up from here, we're not going to hear anything from here. Come on, man. Don't waste our time. You know, if Magu is still collecting police salary, come on, man. The governor of Katsina State, Aminu Masari, stated that both Rivers and Lagos states will not have the huge resources they boast of today without the contributions from other states of the country. He described the moves by both states over the exclusive collection of value-added tax, that's the VAT, by states against the Federal Inland Revenue Service as a joke. Because, according to him, they rely on the population of other states to boost their economies. Yeah, I want to take a shot at him. That's yeah. Because I'm like, Katsina State was one of the poorest from the report we got the last time. So he said, and I quote, VAT serves them and us. You know, we provide the bulk of the market. Because without the rest of the states, what is Lagos or Port Harcourt? Any state that thinks it can survive in isolation is joking. We provide the demand that makes Lagos what it is. Agree or disagree?
Actually, I agree.
I agree and I disagree with some parts.
I agree with the caveat.
Okay, yeah, I agree with the caveat. Yeah. So, who wants to go first?
Okay, first,
Go.
I don't want to go first, but I totally disagree, and I just feel that
Totally.
there are some things that
Yeah.
someone should not, we shouldn't even react to.
No, we should react.
No,
to
we
it.
should.
Yeah.
Okay, let Mr. Wale go first.
Let me just. Okay.
Okay, you want to say something?
I also say, like, I agree that no state can operate in isolation because even as human beings, we need each other to survive. We don't have everything. No man is an island.
Exactly.
I need you. You need me. Where I disagree. Very short. Don't worry. Yeah, where I disagree is where it's boasting that Lagos State or Rivers to be nothing without. Okay, that's still in isolation anyway. But where I disagree with him though. You know, if your state was one of the lowest generating revenue states last year, you know, and you claim that these
You have the moral.
yes, exactly.
Yes.
You know, if you think Lagos and Rivers are not doing something, let's leave Rivers because they will say, it's not the only oil producing state anyway, but they will still want to say, let's go to Lagos. You know, Lagos, we call it a commercial hub. Did he just appear as a commercial hub? No, it was built to become a commercial hub. What steps are they taking in Katsina State
None.
today to make it a productive state that other states can now come and patronize you so that your economy can sit or even do better than Lagos or Rivers State? You know, because you're undermining the things they're doing in these states, in my opinion. What is your state doing that other states can come and the population can come and patronize? What are you supplying that we can demand? You're not doing anything and you're talking down on these states. I didn't like the way he spoke down on them. So it's a joke or whatever. You're a lazy governor. Go and work hard. Anyway, sorry.
Okay, like I said earlier,
Yes.
right? I agree with that first part that no state can survive without the other. And I'd like to say that it's not the fault of Rivers or Lagos or what have you that your state is not able to produce a enabling environment, the technical know-how and resources, you know, to build processing units and manufacturing and whatever. But where I say he has a point is this. And this is a legal matter, right? I still feel that we need to revisit this entire tax structure. The constitution, I'm talking about the constitution right now. Now, where I say this Masari has this point is that, for instance, in the north, predominantly farming is what they do there. And that's the bulk of their what they actually earn a living. So in Kano, right? If you produce maybe hide and skin or something like that, right? And you package it and send it to other places like Lagos or where. Lagos actually get more of that VAT than the actual state that produces it. You see where the injustice, why I said we need to. Now, it's not the creation of Lagos, so you understand. Something is inherently wrong, foundationally.
Mr. Wale, wait. Yeah. I just want to point out something. Talked about them. They have the raw material. It's taken to Lagos. I want to say.
Yes, the reason is that there's no VAT.
I want to say. That's what I want to say right now.
I'm aware.
Lagos adds value on the raw material.
I know all of this.
All right, let's go.
So I know that the government, agricultural products, just like pharmaceutical products and medical, are exempted from. That's why I said we need, after I said foundationally, we need to revisit this. That is it fair? Now, you now talk about consumption tax. Of course, without adding value to those products, there's no way you can. And recall that VAT are not generated on goods at the point of sale to the final consumer. No, it's through the channels, the value added chain, which those states don't have. That's why they are complaining. Okay, look at, for instance, Cadbury now. Cadbury has their factory in Lagos, they produce everything. But then they go to Lagos, collect the VAT, but then they go to Onitsha to sell these things, and the government is good. The government don't get anything. So I even look at a situation where what I even want to happen is that I even pray that the Supreme Court should rule in the favor of these state governors, even though I don't believe they have the capacity to collect this tax, one. And secondly, I do not know how they will resolve this issue of double taxation. They don't have the structure. That's the truth. The federal government is doing an excellent job regarding that. Now, what I feel is that if Supreme Court actually rule in favor of the state governors, you know what's going to happen? These governors from these other northern states or other states that are generating low VAT would also go and challenge. So we're going to have a conundrum of litigations. They also go to court to challenge. At what point do you say we can't collect on this? We produce this product, even though we're not adding value to it at this raw form. You understand? So what's not going to happen?
And the court to rule again.
Yes.
We'll be having final decisions now, so we can move
forward.
forward.
You know what's going on? There's a multiplier effect. What's going to happen is that the cassava, truck of cassava tuber that you normally get from maybe Kaduna or Yobe, or maybe like 20 tons of it, you get it for like 4-5. You're going to be getting it for like 19.5 now. When by the end of that court ruling, if you understand where I'm going, that it's good to have the conversation. We've started that process, and I know we're going. It's not going to be smooth sailing, like as we think it's going to be like that for those states. It's going to open counter worms, other issues, and I think it is good.
It's good. Let's resolve all these lingering issues that are hiding under the rock. So
that's why that is where I believe he has a point.
Well, just like the governor of Benue State said anyway, he came out to say, we have autumn hater here, or isn't it autumn hater forever and ever? Yeah, we'll settle this dispute at the Makurdi State Government House. I don't know why. I don't know whether he said it based on party affiliation or based on whatever. But what he said still was that, okay, wherever the court decides, he's going to support the Supreme Court judgment. And he said that if the court rules in favor of the Rivers State and Lagos State, we have no option but to work hard. We have no. This is the part. You have no option but to work hard to now create. He even said that it will not benefit him. He was honest about it because he says he has no known business in the state.
You need to be honest. The records are there. So what is new that is telling you?
No, but he said he work hard now. That's the main one.
Why is it then he wants to work hard? Why can't he start the working hard process?
Yes, that's where people bashed him and laughed at him. Sorry, Mr. Nimi, you want to say something?
Okay, I said there are some things that that we should not react to. But
so we were not able to convince you.
No, you guys, you convinced me. You both made a very, very convincing argument. But at the end of the day, what I'm just going to say is that the governor is a lazy governor. He should stop coming to the media and saying this and saying that and saying that. I hail the VAT ruling from Rivers State. And me, I want, even if it's going to be hard, even if it's going to be difficult, because I was also reading about the whole W taxation and I was like, man, this thing I've been canvassing for is going to be very, very difficult because there will be so much issues with it. I don't want to go into the technicalities of that, but there are going to be so much issues. Collection, man, it's going to be difficult.
Because even
It's going to be difficult.
Wike admitted that they cannot. You were talking about the collection.
Yes.
And he said that he did not mind or he does not mind FIRS collecting. But don't collect it like your own. Collect it like you are an
Collect like it's
agency
for
that
Rivers
I
State.
employed to collect. Then I give you 5 or 10% of the work that you help me do. Do you understand that? Because he admitted that they don't have the structure.
Yes.
They can start building the structure to collect.
In fact, any state that attempts now to collect by themselves, you've just shortchanged yourself. Yes. Because you're even losing more. In fact, those rivers
Every time, well, they will build
No, do you think so?
structure, Abi.
Do you
They will
think
build
so?
the structure
That's what-
with
no,
time.
you feel
Because considering the amount you would pay.
Because for a state like Lagos now, collecting VAT for themselves, VAT, let us just loosely explain what VAT is, consumption tax. So what have they consumed within that particular locale to pay tax on that thing? Do you think that a state like Lagos collecting VAT on its own will lose massive gains?
No, he's talking about the collection institutions, the
that
systems to collect it. What you have to give accountability of what you actually collected. Is that what you're talking about?
Because it's one thing to collect.
The collecting
and you might
body.
collect and then you don't see because it's your own who collects it, then you can do whatever you want to do with the funding.
Well, that's why it's their money. You cannot tell people how to spend their money.
Anyway, let's go. The president of the Ninth Senate, Senator Ahmad Lawan, on Wednesday set up a 7-member conference committee during plenary to harmonize positions between it and the House of Representatives on the electronic transmission of election results in future elections in the country. You may recall that both chambers of the National Assembly had passed the 2010 Electoral Amendment Bill 2021 for third readings, but the bill differed on the provisions of Clause 52, subsection 3, which deals with the electronic transmission of election results. As a result, the Senate President, in line with legislative practices and procedures, announced the 7-man conference committee to deliberate more on the issues raised. So, Mr. Wale, I need you to break this down for us. What exactly is going on with this committee? What should we expect from the committee? What is the committee actually deliberating upon? Right now. What are they looking to? What are the issues that were raised?
Okay. So there was a 7-man conference committee that was raised, and the question is, why was there a need for that committee? Yes. So you recall that when the National Assembly passed the INEC Amendment Act, when they passed it, there was this particular section 52.3, where it talks about the transmission of results electronically. So the Senate and the House of Reps, they passed different versions of that particular section.
Oh.
Yes, that's where the issue is. So originally, what that section says is that the commission may transmit results of elections by electronic means where and when practicable. That's actually what the law says. So, but the version that the Senate passed was saying that the commission may consider transmission provided that the national network coverage are inadequate and are secured by NNPC and sequel to approval by the National Assembly. That's the version.
NCC, you meant?
NCC and NCC for the network, National Assembly for final approval. That's the version the Senate passed. Then the House of Rep, the version they passed was to say, results, transmitting results electronically should be at the discretion of the commission, which is INEC. Yeah, I think that's the version that most Nigerians and civil society organizations are.
Yes, even INEC came out to say, we don't.
And you know that you cannot send a bill to the president for accent when you don't agree on the same content of that bill. So you see where the issue is. So there was no way they could forward this bill to the president. Hence, the need to form this conference committee. You understand? So basically, the conference committee is just a temporary committee that comprises of lawmakers from the Senate and the Rep, and the House of Reps, so that they come together to negotiate a working document. Once they negotiate this proposal, they try to hold. So the process is now they try to hold informal. Informal negotiations and formal meetings, so that they can try to reach a compromise on these gray areas.
Will they consult the public this time on this or no?
So the thing is that by composition of this committee, right? It is the members, that's lawmakers, who have jurisdiction in this committee. That is to say that if you are not in the committee of INEC, you cannot be a member of this committee. So it is expected that these are the guys that will consult widely, reach out to people, try to, aggregate inputs and all that. So of course, there'll be a lot of back and forth as regards this. And once they eventually come up with an agreeable version, they will now create what we call the conference reports. So it is that report that will now be submitted to the chamber. Then they consider that once they see that they are now on the same page, it is that version that is now sent to the president for assent. So the question of whether they would adopt the Senate version or the House of Rep version is solely exclusive to...
But will they consider the public outcry? Because the public outcry was really in support of the House of Reps version.
Yes, I think they will. I mean, the lawmakers too are human. They read news. The public would have even received petitions from a lot of organizations, that have interest, that aggregate interest from Nigerians, that this is... And
even consider INEC's take on it as well.
Yes, INEC has come out to say, this is the version that they want, and they're okay with this. The same with NCC too. When they came in and to say, you know what, we don't have some areas are even still struggling with the 3G network as we speak. You understand? So let's just leave it at their discretion to determine what to do at that instance. So I feel that at the end of the day, they should be able to put into consideration what the plight of the people, what they are demanding, and also I feel they will do right by that. I have no doubt.
I hope they do that. I hope they consider the total independence of INEC. I hope they don't subject INEC to go through any executive body to be able to know how they want to conduct elections in this country, because I'm all for the independence of INEC. Mr. Nemi, do you have anything to say on this?
Mr. Wale has done justice to it.
Yes, Mr. Wale brought us straight briefing from the Senate. Anyway, let's get to our final topic. If we said this would take long, we didn't take too long. So the Nigeria Police Force, Nasarawa State Command, on Thursday presented checks worth 22.7 million naira in total to the families of 15 police officers who died in active service. The State Commissioner of Police, while presenting the checks to the next of kin of the officers in Lafia, the state capital, said that the gesture was an initiative of the Inspector General of Police, tagged Group Life Assurance, aimed at supporting the families of police officers who die in active service. He also stated that the gesture was to boost the morale of all police officers in the country in order to spur them to do more in protecting Nigeria and to ensure that the country is safe for its citizens. So when I did a breakdown of 22.7 million divided by 15, I got 1.5 million each for each family. Is this commendable or is this total trash? I already gave Mr. Wale a piece of my mind before we started recording. Okay. Anyway. Yes.
For me,
I think is this commendable? Is this fine? These are men that have said have lost their lives in the line of service, and they left families. They have children, and all they get from the force is 1.5 million as life assurance.
I don't think I can give a very, very unbiased view about this, because I have this distrust for policemen, and I feel they shouldn't have even gotten any money. That's what you asked for my reaction, and I'm giving you my reaction. Because much of the news we hear about policemen in Nigeria today.
These ones died in line of duty, so they were actually trying
Who
to...
told you they were not shady one time or the other? Who told you they might have not even killed someone extrajudicially?
Allegedly.
Yes, allegedly. We can never absolve the full Nigerian police force from any wrongdoings, because every day in the news, in fact, these days, I don't even read anything that has to do with the police. It's either...
But we have some good cops, though.
But they are rare. Let me say like 5% out of 100%. I was reading...
What if these are part of the...
I was reading one story. Sorry to just take you far. I was reading one story, and then they said, I think one rapper, she said the policemen, they stopped her on the road. They didn't even tell her where they were taking her car. I think they were doing a stop and search. She came down from her car, and then they entered the car, started driving it to their office.
She allowed it.
She didn't know. She said they were just
police,
if not for the tracker on her phone, that she was able to track her, no, okay, this is the police station. Even when she knew that this car had gotten to this police station, she was now calling on Nigeria that, please, help me. I don't know what I will see when I get there.
Me, policeman cannot even enter my car.
Do you understand?
Until I tell you enter.
So
I don't joke at
bringing
all.
it back now to this 1.5 million, I feel they don't even deserve anything. That is what I honestly believe.
Can we have this conversation?
I'm here. You must. It's true. Okay, what about the families of those that have lost their lives at the hands of children?
Talking about.
Just look at recently. I think on September 11th, there was one girl that was killed in Lagos. Although the police officer, a sergeant, he has been dismissed. But this case is every day.
This one, Mr. Nimi, died in service.
I'm very, very sure that allegedly, even while in service, they must have done some kind of nefarious activities.
So the family members don't deserve anything.
Well, they are the ones that allow their wards and their persons to be part of the police force. If not,
I actually think the police as an institution that is battling to salvage what is left of its image, I think it's a laudable one. Yes. I think it's.
Where am I?
I think it's no. Why I say it's laudable is because they could as well. I mean, when you said it was even alien to me that they do that. I mean, that was my reaction when I first heard. Yes, they compensate. Yes. Don't act like you're not in a country where pensioners have to kill
Mr. Wale, maybe they really do not though. Because like I was saying to you behind the scene, there was a ceremony for this one. The press was invited, there were pictures taken with the handing, handing over. Oh yeah, let's shake. There was a serious ceremony.
For taxpayers' money.
I don't know.
Imagine.
Go on.
So I just feel that, I mean, to me, that practice is alien. To me, like, oh, do they do this? Impressive. It's now the next question will be how much. So we'll now talk about the amount.
Yes, please.
So
Let's talk
for me,
about
the
the
gesture is laudable to start with. When you now talk about the amount you get the amount when you broke it down. I think it was like
1.5. Imagine a whooping.
You say whooping.
It's a whooping sum.
It's a whooping to be a breadwinner of their family.
Yeah. What about the breadwinners of families that they've killed or have made their untimely demise?
Mr. Nimi, please. Thank you.
You look at it that what can they really do with that money?
Yeah.
Right? Some will argue, of course, for that. Like you said, whooping. Others will say chicken change. What is in this economy of today?
Give them 100,000.
With that 1.5, is it enough to even if you try to erase the memory of your loved ones that you lost? Is that But I believe that it's a starting point, and I believe that they can do better.
When you saying starting point, like they're moving somewhere, this way it's not going anywhere.
Because I asked you a question earlier. I said, Have you heard prior to this time that people were compensated?
And that is where it should be.
In the police force. I mean, you need to understand, when you visit police barracks, when you see the rot in police stations, you will understand why I feel this is even a little win for them. Not for us, for them in particular. Because the condition when I visit them, the condition I was supposed to recently, I went to, I don't even want to mention the location so that they won't come for me. But within that Guarimpa there, I entered the station, I was like, wait, human beings that are meant to, provide justice. It pinches my heart and my conscience that they deserve better. You understand? So maybe if you look at it from that angle, I feel that it's a win for them.
Even if you give them better.
However, I feel that they can do better, but you can't build something on nothing. You can't build something on nothing. So I feel that with this, let's hope that people can actually agitate for an improved welfare. We've talked about welfare.
We protested for welfare, for police, for reform to police.
Do you know that recently their salaries were actually reviewed? I think that was 2019 or 20. Yes, it was reviewed upward. Yes, it was reviewed upward because I have a police officer friend.
From what to what?
It was
because when you come out to say reviewed, and if somebody review your salary from 30,000 to 40,000,
no, it was reviewed upward because I know I have a police friend who's an ASP, and he told me that the salary was around, the basic salary then was around 140 or so. I know that now it's close to 180 or so. That's what he was saying.
140 and 150.
140. It depends on the cadet.
140 ASP. I think he said it was 140, 150, but now it's around 180, 190 or so, even more than that. I didn't really get the details because I was just like, man, this was police thing. I'm not even interested.
I hope so, though.
At the end of the day, Mr. Sal, you cannot say that you're going to sideline my opinion about this issue.
No, I'm fine because I want to give my own opinion on this. And I feel like
they should give them 100,000. 100 so that the money will even go around. Since yes,
I'm going to cut this back.
No, you can't. Free speech. Free speech, Mr. Sal. Free speech. They should give them. No, honestly speaking,
I don't know. You said they should give the
100,000 because you cannot tell. There's no way you can. Okay, look, see. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this. I don't know what to talk about. But look at our well-decorated and celebrated cop that was now indicted in that kind of malfeasance. I'm using plenty vocabulary now to hide the true meaning of what I'm saying. But you get the gist. Look at our well-decorated cop. We all believe that this man or more after super cop. We all believe that, after God, after Jesus, everybody, I'm just trying to exaggerate, but we believe that he was spotless. And then look at how it turned out at the end of the day. So which means no policeman is oblivious of all this. That's just how they portray it.
I've met a couple of good policemen. Anyway, let me even ignore whether no police or whether any policeman, looking at police officers or anybody trying to join the police workforce, I don't know how this is supposed to encourage them. But like you said, Mr. Wale, maybe some people, it might encourage them. But we are still doing something on this platform where we're trying to let Nigerians know that they deserve better. Either better leadership, better welfare, or better whatever, because I know we easily settle. Why is in your face like
I
that?
don't know. When you say they deserve better, it sounds strange.
Even the police force, because when you look at the police force, though,
in fairness, Mr. Wale, I as a Nigerian deserve better first before my policeman or police officers.
No, the two can stand.
Yes.
No, you're not getting.
Don't I'm not letting you talk down on the police on this platform.
You're not getting the cross.
No, I'm not talking now on the police. I'm just saying that over time, they've showed this consistency in being against Nigerians. Like, I read the news every day.
But do we know whether it's a system that made them be like that? When you talk about this, have you gone to a police station? Look at their offices. And we talked about this thing, one of the former episodes, where let's say you have a
I don't even want to visit the police station
right now, and you really want to be able to join the security force of your country. You really want to protect people, because me, when I see people joining army, I'm like, how? Me, I don't want to join, whether it's in America or wherever. I'm not going to sacrifice my life.
How are you even?
And they have genuine people that want to join these forces. So imagine you join with your genuine hat. Then you see the condition that you are forced to work in. You see your offices. You see the lack of arms. You see the lack of welfare and all these things. What do you expect them to do?
What if they are the ones that fail to properly manage their office space or their police stations?
That can't be across. We are talking of something it wrought across the 36 states.
Exactly.
You don't think there's something wrong?
Well, I would go back and review my arguments, but for today,
I think one policeman must have offended. Policemen have offended.
Do you know I don't even have a personal bias? I've never been frisked by the police. I've never actually been harassed by the police.
It's just your perception.
Yes, because I read the news every day, and it's disheartening. You see states like Lagos, Edo State. I just can't even imagine that the police will just stop you and then they just gun you down. That's actually one way I'm always afraid that I will actually die in Nigeria, gunned down by police, or maybe misfired police bullets. Anyway, you guys had, tenable arguments, but
I don't want to rant on this anymore. I just feel like the government can do better,
Totally agree.
we can do better. So I want Nigeria to have a police force who will be proud.
So, Mr. Salah, are you saying 1.5 million is small?
It's trash.
So how much do you think, in your own estimation? Sorry to ask you this question.
I even think the 22.7 million is trash for one family. Yeah. For somebody that died in service.
My God.
Because
where are we going to get that money from?
If we check what their counterparts are getting, this is a life assurance. Do you know what a life assurance is supposed to be? It's a huge sum of money. 30 million to me could have been fine.
30 million for one policeman
is a family, your family, because it's just like you joining the military force. We're writing an insurance for you, a life insurance, that if you die here, this is how much goes to your family. And one drive for security forces around the world.
We don't have
one drive. Let me finish this. One drive for security forces around the world is that they know that their families will be well taken care of if they die in service. How will I think my family is going to be taken care of with 1.5 million naira if I die?
I speak for the Nigerian government.
A Nigerian life is worth.
Exactly, because we even said 30 million, which is even too small.
A Nigerian life. A Nigerian has not joined the police force.
No, just a Nigerian life.
Just a typical Nigerian life.
Mr. Wale, thank you for joining us today. In fact, thank you guys for being here. I'm joining or not joining. Anyway. Thank you guys for watching this episode. Please don't forget to subscribe to Page 36 TV on YouTube. Like, share, please share, subscribe, and comment. I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.